Hi, and welcome to In Taiwan We Speak, your audio guide to Taiwan's mind-blowing linguistic diversity. I am Alexander Shin, and today in Taiwan We Speak, or more like in Taiwan We Sign, Taiwan Sign Language, also known as TSL. It is a unique sign language that is one of the primary languages of Taiwan's deaf community. I am joined today by Fanghuai Ku, a Taiwan Sign Language specialist and founder of Signing Village Workshop, an initiative that supports projects that aim to advance TSL education. Fanghuai, thank you so much for joining me here today.
Sure. It's my pleasure.
Let's begin by clearing up a common confusion. Is it okay if when we speak English, we call sign language users speakers?
Well, I mean, it depends because I'm a CODA. I'm the child of deaf adult, so I sign and I speak. So, yeah, I think I can be both. Yeah.
But generally, you don't speak a sign language, or do you?
No, we sign.
You sign, right. Well, that clears it up. Interestingly, many may find it surprising that unlike major spoken languages in Taiwan, Taiwan Sign Language is not related to Chinese Sign Language, right? In fact, it developed as part of the Japanese Sign Language family.
Yes.
How did that happen? Please guide us through this history.
It's a long story. I mean, I make it short. During the World War II, the Japanese government just occupied Taiwan and they established two schools for deaf and blind students. One is in Taipei and another one is in Tainan. And so when they established that schools, they sent the teachers to Taiwan from Japan. So in the north of Taiwan, in Taipei, the school in Taipei, they sent the teacher from Tokyo. And in Tainan, they sent the teacher from Osaka. So those two teachers, they have different dialect for Japanese Sign Language. So it become two dialects of the Taiwan Sign Language right now. So basically, the Taiwan Sign Language is a part of Japanese Sign Language is a family.
Which other languages belong to that sign language family?
Yeah, another one is Korean Sign Language. Yeah, this same reason, I mean, Japanese government just occupied the Koreans. Yeah, so they send the teacher and teach the Japanese Sign Language. Yeah.
So basically, if you meet users of Japanese Sign Language or Korean Sign Language, to what extent can you understand each other easily?
Well, basically, we can share some signs. For example, like numbers, we have the same gestures and handshakes. And also we share father, mother, especially the brother, because we use the middle fingers. You can just use the middle finger and touch your cheeks and go up, meaning older brothers, and go down, so meaning younger brother. So... well, this is totally different because, I mean, my American friends, they saw it and say, well, it's not, it's not good. But yeah, there's Taiwan Sign Language, yeah.
I'm just curious. So what does the middle finger mean in American Sign Language?
Well, basically, I mean, they say this is a swear word. So, yeah, but they say, don't use your middle finger because it's meaning the F word. And yeah, but in Taiwan, we use it a lot. So it can be like a airplane, so also it can be like a banana. So the TSL just try to imitate the shape of that things, that objects. So they use it to sign the Taiwan Sign Language. Yeah,
that's interesting. So is it one of those unique features, the usage of middle finger in signs?
Well, yes, because I mean, I have asked my father what is middle fingers from, and he says, I mean, he doesn't know what it's come from. He only noticed from Japan Sign Language. It's just unique, yeah.
That's very interesting. And so going back to linguistic genealogies, I think many people don't understand that sign languages are actually entirely different languages from those languages spoken in any specific country. So it makes sense that sign language families are also, they've developed differently. I'm from Ukraine, and Ukrainian Sign Language is actually from the French Sign Language family, and it's more closely related to American Sign Language than it is to British, let's say, even though we're on the same continent.
Well, yeah, actually, some people ask me about, does the sign language is universal? I say yes or no, because, I mean, we have a sign language families. Within that sign families, we can share our signs, but outside we cannot.
This is only the third language family that we have on this program. Most of the time we talk about Sinitic or Chinese languages or Austronesian indigenous languages. So this is the first time we have Japanese Sign Language family on this show.
Yeah.
Now, you've probably experienced communicating with users of Chinese Sign Language. To what extent can you understand each other?
Basically, no, we cannot understand each other's, but I mean, the funny thing is we call the character sign. The character sign is, I mean, Taiwan Sign Language will imitate the shape of Chinese characters. So many Chinese Sign Language, they share the character signs with TSL too. So because I think they use the same way to sign that characters,
Just to make it clear, we're not talking about the core of the sign language, but the system that is used to represent the spoken language through the sign language, like the American fingerspell.
Yes, but but basically in Taiwan we don't have the fingerspell. I mean, we call fingerspelling the sign language, but we have a 注音符号 sign language, but only in the deaf school. Yeah, because I mean, they try to teach the deaf student to speak. So they create the 注音符号 sign language, but it's not useful. Yeah, so I ask so many students how they feel about the 注音符号 sign language. They say it's useless. It's confusing, so it's complicated.
So instead of teaching kids how to actually sign the language, they only know how to spell it out basically through signs.
Yeah, because of 注音符号 sign language is for phonic. It's for learning how to speak. So, well, for deaf kids, they don't use it in their daily lives.
We'll talk a little bit later about deaf education in Taiwan.
Yeah.
But you are a user of the American Sign Language as well, right?
Yes.
How did you get to learn it?
Well, before I get into the doctor program in United States for my doctor degree in deaf education, they required me to have a test to pass the American Sign Language level 4 to get in the programs. So because in the program they use the American Sign Language only, so I have to learn American Sign Language and get into the program. So that's why I learned American Sign Language. Yeah.
How different is it?
Well, it's totally different.
Same as Chinese Sign Language. So basically, you had to learn an entire new world of signs.
Yeah. Especially the finger spelling is very hard for me. Yeah.
I once learned American Sign Language when I was in college, 10 or something years ago. And I remember I can still spell my name, which is Olek.
Yes.
Yeah. But of course, if you start with the finger spelling, it sort of feels a little bit easy in the beginning until you realize that you have to learn so many signs.
Yeah. My American Sign Language teachers always tell me that if you want to improve your finger spelling, you have to sign all the time. When you see the signs, for example, like a 7-Eleven, you sign the 7-Eleven, you give the same finger spelling. So it's kind of weird because when I'm in United States, I drive in, but my right hand is still finger spelling. I'm trying to practice that.
Right.
Yeah.
Do we know how many TSL users we have in Taiwan and maybe outside of Taiwan as well?
Well, in Taiwan, it's around 12,000 right now, and it's sad. It's decreasing right now. Yeah. Well, there's so many reasons, but the main reason is the technology improved. For example, like a cochlear implant or a hearing aid. So many deaf kids, they have that hearing aid, so they learn to speak. Even they can speak very well, but they just learn to speak. And another reason is the parent. The parents, they don't want their kids to learn sign language. They see sign language is just like it's not formal language compared to the Mandarins. Yeah. So especially in the school, they use the Mandarin, not the sign language. So the parents, they decide their kids not go to the deaf school, instead to the mainstream school. So they will not see the deaf adult until they meet them maybe 20 years later, or I don't know. But sometimes we say the God make the big joke for deaf people because deaf kids, they born in the hearing family a lot. It's a 90%. So the deaf school or the deaf association is the tribe for deaf people right now. Yeah.
So hearing parents usually, do they treat implants as an ultimate solution for their kids?
Yes. They say it's just like a only way can treat their kids to become normal. Yeah. Because I heard so many parents, they say, I want my kids become normal. But for us, I mean, from the deaf education perspective, we see deaf kids, they just use the different language. They use the sign language to learn, and they can use the sign language to communicate. So there's no different. Yeah.
Now, before we delve into deaf culture in Taiwan, since this is a program mostly about languages, I have to ask you, going back to what you mentioned about 2 dialects of TSL, could you please guide us through these dialects? How different are they?
Basically, the sign will be a little bit different. For example, the pineapple. In the northern dialect, we use the shape of the pineapple.
Right, so one hand under your jaw
cheek,
and another one above you.
Yeah, just like the pineapple.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and from the thousand, we use this because
It's very different.
Yeah, because this is how they shape the skin of the pineapple.
Right, so it looks like a knife that you imitate with your hand palm.
Yes.
And another hand also in front of you.
Yes.
Oh, that's quite different.
Yeah, that's why we, in deaf educations, we always say we don't attempt to unify the all sign languages. Yeah, because I heard so many students, they complain, it's why we need to learn 2 different sign languages. I mean, 2 different dialects. But, well, for us, yeah, it's no more. Yeah. We also require that the TSL interpreter, they have to learn 2 different dialects because they will serve the deaf people from different place and they can just sign the different dialect, and they all know that. Yeah.
Well, that makes sense because in Taiwan, I feel like it's a country that's embraced dialects.
Yeah. Yes.
Right. Whenever we have a guest here to talk about their language,
Yeah.
they would always say, we're not one solid language. This is a dialectal continuum. So I think this is something that our listeners are already familiar with.
Yes.
And it's very nice that we've learned that TSL also has 2 major dialects within Taiwan. Some of Taiwan's languages made their way outside of Taiwan. What about TSL?
For me, I mean, I think the TSL's not go outside the Taiwan. It still remain in Taiwan. That's why I just introduced to a YouTuber from United States and German, and they came to Taiwan and they filmed the deaf peoples and their stories, and also visit the deaf-owned business. So that's why I'm trying to just introduce TSL to the world. And because I think, I mean, the deaf people in Taiwan, they just like other deaf people in the world. They can do anything. Just like in United States, the deaf people can be the lawyer, can be the artists, they can be the doctors, and also the pilot. They can fly the plane. And so I think the deaf people in Taiwan, they can do everything too. So I'm trying to introduce the sign language stories in Taiwan to the world, and also I want to introduce the story from the world to Taiwanese deaf people. Yeah.
We'll be able to talk more about your organization and its projects and initiatives in the next episode. With that, we've run towards the end of our airtime for today. But of course, dear listeners, we do not end our chat with Fanghuai here. Join us next week as we continue our conversation about Taiwan Sign Language and the nation's deaf community. Thank you, Fanghuai, and thank you everyone for tuning in. I've been Oleg, and see you next week.